Good morning, everyone. My report is all about sentence and kinds according to its structure. Before we start, let us define what this sentence is all about. Sentence, according to Oxford Dictionary, it is a set of words that is complete in itself, typically containing a subject and predicate, conveying a statement, question, command, or exclamation, and consisting of a main clause and sometimes one or more subordinate clause. So here are the examples of the sentences. First, Jennifer went to my house. In this sentence, it's clearly stated that the speaker is conveying a statement. Jennifer here is our subject, went is our verb, and to my house is our object. While the second sentence, did Jennifer go to my house? In this example, it conveys a question, or the speaker is asking question. While the third one, Jennifer, go to my house. It's clearly stated that the speaker is asking command, or conveying a command to Jennifer. While in the last example, Jennifer went to my house because she visited my grandmother. In these examples, this sentence is conveying a clauses. And now, let's proceed to the kinds of sentence according to its structure. On the basis of numbers of clause and types of clauses present in a sentence, sentences are divided into four kinds: the simple sentence, the complex sentence, the compound sentence, and the complex compound sentence. Now, let's proceed to the simple sentence. A simple sentence consists of one independent clause only, and it contains a subject, a verb, and it expresses complete thought. Take note that there is no dependent clause in simple sentence, but it may have a compound subject and a compound predicate. For example, they are sleeping. She ate an apple. Layla studied biology. Now, let's proceed to the complex sentence. A complex sentence consists of one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. It is also joined by subordinating conjunctions such as because, although, since, when, unless, and more, or a relative pronoun that, who, which, and etc. Take a look at this example. I met the boy who had helped me. I met the boy is our independent clause because it has a subject I and a verb met, and it has a complete thought. Meanwhile, who had helped me is our dependent clause, and it is joined, or the two clauses is joined by a relative pronoun who. In the second example, we have you can't pass the test unless you study for it. In the second example, you can't pass the test is our independent clause, and unless you study for it is our dependent clause. And here, it is joined by a word unless, which is our subordinating conjunction. Okay, take note that in complex sentence, if a sentence begins with an independent clause, a comma is not used between the two clauses. Take a look at this example. He is playing well is the independent clause, and although he is ill is the dependent clause. The sentence begins with independent clause, that is why we didn't put a comma between the two clauses. Meanwhile, in the second example, if a sentence begins with dependent clause, a comma is used between the two clauses. For instance, here, although he is ill is the dependent clause, and He is playing well is the independent clause. That is why we put a comma between the clauses because the second sentences or the second sentence rather starts with dependent clause. The compound sentence. A compound sentence is consists of at least two independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunctions, and the same with the simple sentence. The compound sentence has no dependent clause. The coordinating conjunctions used to join independent clauses are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, or also known as fanboys. Independent clauses can also be joined by a semicolon. A comma may or may not be used before the conjunction in compound sentence. For example, I like an apple, but my brother likes a mango. In here, we have the two independent clauses, which are the I like an apple and my brother likes a mango. The two independent clauses is joined by a coordinating conjunction but. In the next examples, I asked him a questions. He replied correctly. So here, the two independent clauses is joined by a semicolon. And the last example, Daniel played football, so Maria went shopping. So in the last example, the two independent clauses is joined by a comma. And the last one is the complex compound sentence. Complex compound sentence is also called as compound complex sentence. It is consists of at least two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. For example, he went to college and I went to a market where I bought a book. In this example, we have two independent clauses which are he went to college and I went to a market. It is joined by a coordinating conjunction and our dependent clause is where I bought a book. And the last example, I like mathematics, but my brother likes biology because he wants to be a doctor. So here we have two independent clauses also and joined by a coordinating conjunction but. And our dependent clause is because he wants to be a doctor.